Tonight in Texas, the numbers just lit a match under the whole political machine. A University of Houston poll has Democrats James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett sitting within the margin of error of their most likely Republican rivals. And suddenly, Donald Trump goes weirdly quiet, dodging endorsements like a man terrified of putting his name on the wrong loser. While Tallarico's out here wrapping faith and morality around a real message to pull in Texans who don't normally vote blue, Crockett is doing what Washington hates most, dragging the DOJ, calling out the Epstein records mess, and putting leadership on blast, then dropping an anti-censorship bill aimed at a weaponized FCC, only for CBS to twist her name into cover for why Colbert's interview mysteriously didn't air. And here's where it gets nasty. Equal airtime, they say. Legal warnings, FCC panic, excuses stacked like sandbags. Yet Crockett says she never even got the invite, and the call came after the decision was already made. That's not caution, that's a cover story. Add in a GOP primary soap opera, Cornyn, Paxton, Hunt, money flooding in, Trump allegedly refusing to bless Cornyn, early voting spiking, wild special election swings. And you can practically see the party bosses sweating through their suits, scrambling to control the narrative before it collapses on live TV. Because Crockett's point is brutal and simple. Don't bend, censorship backfires, and resistance spreads faster than fear. And in just a moment, Jamie Raskin is about to drop shocking details in the next clip. So hit like, subscribe, and let's get into it.
You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ, because you don't seem to be good at your job.
There we go. Certainly not holding back. Jasmine Crockett has even introduced a bill to rein in Trump's FCC and stop it from censoring critics to push a political agenda. All of which makes it incredibly ironic that CBS is citing Congresswoman Crockett as part of their decision to bend to Trump's agenda and censor her opponent. And I'm very eager to hear what she has to say about all of it. Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. She's, of course, a candidate for U.S. Senate. There are so many things to talk to you about, and I'm so grateful you're here. Let me just start with some of the news from today, which I just outlined. I mean, in CBS's statement on what happened with Colbert's show last night, they name-checked you. I mean, they said this: the show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for two other candidates, including Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. What do you make of that explanation?
We actually received a phone call, and that was a little bit earlier today. And in that call, they explained that they actually told CBS that they could go ahead and move forward with the interview of James Tallarico. They just needed to offer me equal time. I did not get a request from the Colbert show to go on. As you know, I've been on Colbert multiple times. And frankly, if we would have gotten an offer, that would have been great. But we're in the middle of early voting, so I'm kind of focused on being in Texas at this moment. I don't know what to believe, that's for sure. But I got that phone call as I was out talking to voters.
That's it. So there's so many things to talk to you about again. But they called you today, but they decided not to air the interview last night. You've been on Colbert a number of times, as you just said. Did you have any issue when they were going to air the interview last night, when they promoted it, or when it was supposed to air? Or did anyone from your campaign?
No, we didn't have an issue. I mean, we've never run into an issue with Colbert. And even as you talked about The View, supposedly this FCC complaint came about because I had more time than Mr. Tallarico when I went on there after I declared my candidacy. Listen, I will tell you that I have no love for Barry Weiss. I have no love for Brendan Carr whatsoever. But I do think that, as you also mentioned, Kimmel, it is important that we resist in this moment. And so there were a number of options that could be put on the table. And frankly, the Late Show decided that this was the option. And I think that it was a good strategy. I mean, look at what happened when they tried to censor CCOT. We found out that you could get a lot more views. So I think it probably gave my opponent the boost he was looking for. So I think it's probably better that he didn't get on and that they went straight to streaming, because we know that when we resist and when we know that it seems like they're trying to change the rules and bend the knee to this president, that it backfires in historic fashion.
Spectacularly over and over again. And you have been no stranger to them going after you as well, I know. Let me ask you about something, and I mentioned this a little bit in the opening. Trump was asked about the Republican candidates in the Texas race on Air Force One last night, and he kind of said, I like them all, and refused to really endorse any of them. What did you make of that? Why do you think that is?
I love it. There's a couple of things about this, right? A lot of people are like, there's no way Texas can do this. And I'm here to tell you that even on day one of early voting, we are exploding with participation right now. And we just had two special elections, one that swung 30 points, another one that swung 17 points. We are really ready to do this in Texas. And frankly, right now, I will tell you what the insiders tell me. They tell me that he really doesn't like John Cornyn, so he just doesn't want to endorse him. We know that the Republicans have already spent $50 million trying to boost Senator Cornyn in this primary, yet he is still trailing Ken Paxton, who only raised $1 million last quarter. We also know that supposedly his chief of staff does not like Ken Paxton. So there's that. And then Wesley Hunt doesn't really have a shot. So he doesn't really know what to do. There are people that are pulling at him in different ways, trying to tell him what's most strategic to do. But there was a poll that actually dropped today that had me ahead of all three of them. So whichever way they decide to go, we're ready to win this thing.
I'm sure Donald Trump loves Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who may be the Democratic nominee, calling out his fearful strategy right now. You are known to so many people watching right now and so many people out there for a range of viral moments. I played kind of one of them from last week, but you've had so many of them, humorous jabs at Republicans on the Hill. But you're, of course, much more than that, as everybody is, but as everybody who's in elected office is. Often people are caricatured. What else do you wish more Texans knew about you?
Yeah, so first of all, I wish they knew that I actually started my political and legal career in rural East Texas, and that I served on the Agriculture Committee last cycle. So I'm that girl that actually can go into rural Texas, even though I represent the Dallas area. And I've been talking to our Texas farmers and ranchers way before I was looking at running for the U.S. Senate. I understand the challenges that are facing all Texans, whether you're talking about our farmers and ranchers that are currently filing record bankruptcies, or whether you're talking about that mother who may be sitting at home wondering whether or not she's going to have enough money to pay for health care and food on our table. We are leading in uninsured in the country. We have been leading in uninsured for a very long time. But as someone who lived in rural East Texas, I know what it is to have to go to Shreveport or go to Dallas so that I can actually see a healthcare professional because there's not one that's there. Listen, the challenges that Texans are facing, especially as it relates to affordability, with us being one of the top exporting states in the entire country, they are real. And so we've got to rein in this out of control administration. We've got to make sure that we're getting these tariffs under control. We've got to start to grow our economy instead of continuing to shrink it. We've got to make sure that housing is a real dream that can be realized by all Texans. And so we've got to make sure that these terrible policies around immigration that are impacting us everywhere. The final point that I'll say, because I know you're ready to move on, but today was a really emotional day for me as I walked into a building and there was another business that was there. And a doctor came out at her facility and she said to me, I just want to tell you this story about someone that works in my office. She said, your security detail came in to do advance work and she went and hid under the desk in the office. She said, now she is a citizen, but she is a Latina. And she was so scared. She was in tears and under her desk because she thought that your advance officer was actually ICE. This isn't the America that we deserve. We deserve so much better. And when they realized that he was actually an officer for me, instead of being tears of sadness, it was tears of joy because she knows that I stand up and I fight for all of us. I don't want to live this way, and I honestly don't think most Americans want to live this way. So we need somebody who knows how to fight this administration and won't back down. And I'm excited to get into the Senate and do just that.
And let's be crystal clear. What you just watched isn't politics as usual. It's a full-blown panic response from a system that can feel the ground moving under it. When a major poll puts Tallarico and Crockett within striking distance, Suddenly, the usual loudmouths go silent, endorsements vanish, and corporate gatekeepers start hiding behind legal jargon like it's a shield. Equal airtime, they say. Right? Because the same people who never miss a chance to platform the powerful are suddenly terrified of fairness. Give me a break. This is what it looks like when they're afraid of losing control. The backroom calls, the convenient excuses, the timeline that doesn't add up, and the desperate attempt to keep a rising voice off the biggest stages. Meanwhile, Texans are dealing with real pain: healthcare deserts, insane costs, housing pressure, chaotic policy whiplash, and the political class is busy playing games, protecting careers, and managing headlines. So here's your job right now. Don't let them bury this story in the algorithm cemetery. If you believe voters should decide elections, not networks, not lawyers, not party bosses, then you need to push this video where they can't ignore it. Smash the like button because it tells the platform this matters. Subscribe because we're not done. This fight doesn't end when the clip ends. And drop a comment with one sentence. Do you think CBS used equal time as an excuse, or was it a real legal issue? I read the comments, and your voice helps shape what we cover next. Share this with one friend who thinks politics is just noise, because this is the moment the noise turns into accountability. Stay sharp, stay loud, and keep watching, because the next move from Raskin is going to expose exactly who's been pulling the strings.